Hello, lovely learners. Welcome back to ALifeLearned. Today I have an interesting story time for you. We'll just say that. A week ago today was my dad's 55th birthday, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to host him a surprise party. I'd always wanted to either host or be part of organizing a surprise party, or hey, maybe receive one myself. I just thought the whole, camaraderie, is that the word? Excitement, the stuff around making a surprise party, always thought it seemed fun, and that it would be a fun thing to be a part of, and or again receive. Seeing as it didn't feel like I really had anyone in my life in the position or for any reason to throw me a surprise party, I thought, what the heck, I'll throw one for one of my parents. So last June, I started organizing it because being a surprise party, I wanted it to kind of be a bigger deal than an average birthday party. I wanted people to come who usually wouldn't attend. So I thought, inviting them in advance would somehow lead to people being more likely to come. Sometimes we learn things in our childhood and sometimes we get smacked in the face with them as an adult. And so I keep laughing because of just how hilarious it is in retrospect that I thought this was going to go well. To me, I feel like it was generally a disaster, but I'll let you be the judge as I share more about how it went. So started a Facebook group to invite people. Started talking to my mom about his history, about what she knew of his past friends. She had these 4 group of people that she said he was really close with when he was young, and so we started trying to reach out to those people, but we struggled quite a bit because we weren't connected with them on Facebook at all. And my mom was like paranoid that by her connecting with these people or trying to, that my dad would get wind of the whole thing, which made no sense because, by the way, like, Facebook doesn't give notifications to all your friends that you just friended another friend of theirs. Like, that's not how it works. But anyway, she ended up, after like a month and a half, so 6 weeks of working on this, she then thought to ask my brother to reach out and friend these people on Facebook and try to get in touch with them. And she thought maybe they would be more responsive, like they would actually see his request and follow through and talk to him because he has the same last name as my dad, which is sort of what ended up happening with one of them at least, or two of them. So that's kind of cool. I ended up learning later that my dad's not really that much friends with them anymore though, so that felt kind of stupid, but whatever. When you don't know, you don't know. So in total we had invited, it was a little bit confusing because my mother went and invited like 2 or 3 accounts for some people, so the numbers were a little bit confusing, but I want to say at one point it was like 15-ish, 20-ish people, not including the double accounts. At least 10 just never replied, never acknowledged the event at all. My mom even direct messaged them. They didn't acknowledge those direct messages either. So, in one sense, I get social anxiety, and sometimes I don't respond to stuff out of that, but it's usually when it has a lot around it, a lot of social expectations around it, whereas a total stranger contacting you, for me, there's no social expectation there, so I have no problem replying to people. And I also, I get that sometimes you just don't see that the message went into message requests, so, years later is when you find it. Those are totally possibilities, but I just also know that some people, saw the messages. We could see that it was seen on this time, this date, and they just never replied, and I'll just never understand why people do that. It kind of sucks, on the receiving end, but anyway. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, oh no, 1, 2 people and a family of 5 to agree to come, to say that they were coming, as well as my brother's family, which is a family of 4. And so, that felt, not much, but it was something, right? It felt like, okay, this is something. Then things kind of, went to hell in July. I think it was July that we found out. My dad was getting evicted because the place was sold and the new people didn't want the tenants in there. And there's like some kind of clause where they have the right to do that. So he had to move at the beginning of August, August 1st. So, a couple Tuesdays ago, just 5 days before the actual party. Another thing that I did was I actually backed up the date of the party, so I really wanted to host it on his birthday, which again was a week ago today, so this Sunday. But there was suggestion both from my mom and other people that doing it Saturday might be more convenient for some people because of the whole having to work Monday or other things, which is like, I mean, some people had to work Monday, but it was a holiday, so some people didn't. Either way, backed it up, ended up doing it the day before his birthday to try and allow for more people to come. Ultimately, that didn't seem to change anything. So, because of this kerfuffle with him having to move August 1st and only having 2 months to do it, while also the current rental market within Canada being a total clusterfuck of discrimination and just people who don't have like excessive, generally high in today's day incomes can't find an apartment, can't get anywhere. Because even if you do have okay credit and okay references, they'll insist that you don't have enough income because whatever they're asking is not 30% or less of your income, which in today's day, like we're not getting income increases that match the extreme spikes in rentals. So that's just like impossible for most people. Everyone's paying at least 40%, if not more, of their total income for their housing. So like for landlords to expect that, really screws over a lot of people, like my dad. He also doesn't have good credit though, unfortunately. So he's got a few things working against him, trying to get this apartment. So August 1st comes around, and he doesn't have anywhere. He doesn't have anywhere to go. He's applied to many, many places, but nowhere to go. So he ends up in a motel. He's been rooming with this person who unfortunately has a bit of a drug issue. I shouldn't say a bit. She has a drug issue, but he'd been trying to support her in it and help her work through her different programs and recover and get clean. But she's still got a lot of healing to do. She's still got a lot of issues. And my dad has a lot of unhealed trauma himself, so they were conflicting quite a bit. So in the end, despite his best attempts, honestly, I think he did a lot more than his best attempts. He well overextended himself and didn't necessarily have the greatest boundaries. Tried, but things got to a point where he could not continue with that roommate. But they had gotten this motel together, so his only other resort was to move in with my mom and sleep on her floor until he can find somewhere else. And so that meant that, like, the night my mom was supposed to start the cooking, because, by the way, as a way to try and make this vaguely affordable, I bought all the food, but then asked my mom to basically do all the cooking, to do the catering. I can cook, but I'm not that great. And I just don't have the gumption, whereas she seems to really like to cook. So I'm just like, here, you do the cooking, I'll pay for it all. It was very expensive. I did not have a job. It was difficult. But anyways, so she's supposed to start the cooking, Friday night, the 4th. And he is like, guess what? I'm moving in. I'm done with this situation. I can't do it anymore. I'm sleeping on your floor. And it's just like, but we're trying to host a surprise party for you, and we can't cook the food right in front of you. You're gonna start asking questions. So this like very ridiculous orchestration ended up happening between myself and my mom and my brother, where after my brother ended up having to work far too late in the evening and then went home, had dinner, showered, blah, 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 he came and got my father at 10 o'clock at night because my dad had asked him to basically help go to the motel and pick up all of his stuff because he had to leave a lot of it there, just not being able to carry it. And my brother had a car, or has a car. So what we did was we asked my brother to take as long as he possibly could, as long as possible, doing this trip. And so he kind of took him in literally the opposite direction of where the way they needed to go, and took in and just kind of showed him some of the sites that he'd worked on as a landscaper. And they talked a bit about that, and he managed to burn up, I think, an extra half hour, which, you know, thank you, Tommy. Really appreciate that. It did help. And so in that half hour, we were trying, or no, I guess it was like an hour and so before he actually was back. We were trying to get into the party room because my mother has a party room in the main floor of her apartment building that people can book for free. And that's what we'd booked for the party space. And she'd gotten permission from management that she could go into it the night before to store some stuff, and like maybe even start some of the cooking. But management failed to communicate that to security, and so it just never happened. And so what that led to is that I had to take all of the party stuff that I had been slowly like bringing to her apartment for storage, you know, to like bring down to the party room. I had to take it all back and store it in my car overnight, and then bring it all back again the next day in order to actually get it to the party room, because there's no way to get it out of the apartment past him while he's in the apartment and still keep it a surprise, right? So, another thing we decided to do, because we'd only ended up getting like 2 people, or three people in a sense, you know, three families to agree, in addition to my brother, to actually come to the party. We're like, okay, well, we'll make a video, and we'll play that video for him at the party of people who can't make it. And for whatever reason, even though I told people about the video like 2 weeks in advance, someone decided to send their video at 3 a.m. the day of. So I get up, I'm already stressed to shit, because I have to figure out a way to, like, I'm exhausted, and I have to figure out how to get like all this stuff set up, get him out of the apartment for a while so my mom can do some cooking that she just couldn't do while he was there, and then bring him back on some, like, you know, fib, and convince him that, you know, there's a perfectly good reason for us to be going back there when I told him that we were going to go to Ribfest for his birthday, as, you know, like an excuse to get his time that day, without, you know, actually telling him what we were arranging. The day before the event, the family of 5 that I mentioned a few minutes ago randomly sent us a video, which we'd explained to people we were only taking videos from those who couldn't come. So they didn't explain, they didn't say literally anything. They didn't say, we can't make it, this is why, we're sorry, like, nothing. And, you know, you don't have to apologize. I'm not saying that. I'm just more like, they didn't say anything. They just sent a video saying happy birthday. And it was just like, I guess that's your way of saying you're not coming, eh? Fuck you. Sorry, excuse my French, but they were half the party. Their family of 5 was half the party. So I was pretty pissed that with less than 24 hours before the party, they're just like, no explanation, but not gonna be there. So that bummed me out. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be a small party, but oh well, still something. Then I end up learning that my brother has to work that morning, so it might be difficult for his family to be there when we first arrive. And it's like, great, things are just getting better and better. And so I'm very, very stressed when I first wake up, and then I see that this person has sent this video, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? All right, fine. We will try to get this. I put the whole video together last night so that I could just get up and go, because I got a lot to do, but fine, we'll try to add this video clip to the finished video. Oh my god, talk about PTSD meltdowns. Oh my god, like, I had no spoons that day, no spoons. Like, I was just so drained. I had spent my energy for like the next week trying to just keep my sanity amongst all this disappointment of it not working and of no one showing up, and, you know, just it all just feeling like it wasn't going well. So I try to turn on my computer, it doesn't want to turn on. I try to connect to the internet, it doesn't want to connect. I restart my computer, still doesn't want to connect. Try to turn on Facebook, Messenger won't open. Finally, Messenger opens, won't pull up the video. Like, all the things that could have gone wrong with me trying to do that did. And fuck. Like, the only thing that didn't go wrong was my computer bursting into flames. So, I guess there's just going to be a lot of cussing in this video. Sorry, but there's a lot of emotions with this. So, I'm like in total meltdown mode, but still somehow my brain comes up with a solution that download it on your phone, because Messenger would come up there, and then plug your phone into the computer and get it off your phone that way and into the file. So I did, but also still pretty mad at that person for sending that video so late after they'd been told for 3 weeks that the deadline was Friday night. Screw you. But got that together. Then I had to go to the library to print something because the day before I had the wrong file on the USB, so I had to go to the library twice because I don't have a printer. Then, oh, a whole other thing. I made my dad a banner and like did some photoshopping to try and get rid of ads on this car, and then the idea was for people to sign the car to like replace the ads, and it'd be like a little birthday card, but a giant one. But I don't have very good resolution in my screens, or at least I learned this through designing this banner, because then when I went to pick it up, like, you know, a week before the party, I could see spots where it was all like blotchy, where like, you know, you could see how I had just kind of dragged the color across to make it look the same, or to get rid of the ad. But on my screen, when I pulled it up after looking at it, like, you cannot see that at all in my version. So I was just like, everything felt like it was going wrong. So get up that day, and the plan that I developed was whatever cooking my mom had to do in front of him, she was just going to tell him was my best friend's food, like for her party, because her birthday's the day after his. And then I was going to go to the to her building without telling him, like super early, to start setting up. I told her to just like make an excuse that she had a meeting to go to so that she could leave as well and then come down to the party room and help. We started setting up, like put up the banner, put up a few little like just minor decorations. It was not anything big. He's a 55-year-old man, not a 6-year-old, right? We don't need big decorations, but just a few things to make it race car themed, because I thought that'd be kind of fun. And, you know, laid out some games, board games and stuff in case people wanted. And then started like preparing my party games, because there's one thing I've learned from a friend who hosts really good parties is you can't expect people to do all the socializing themselves. Sometimes it really helps to have a little of that social lube they call, which is party games, where the host like actually arranges them and doesn't just like put out board games for people to pick up, but, you know, has something that is group oriented. So I was getting myself ready for that. And then, like, I'd basically done all I could, and it was time to go out to my car and let him know that I was on my way. Meanwhile, I was, like, right beside the building, and then drive around like I was coming to pick him up. So that's what I did. And then, to my joy, he was like, can we go to an errand to the bank? And I'm like, you're going to help me burn this time that I had no idea how to spend to keep you away from this building? Yes, okay, let's go do it. And then we get back to my place and we just kind of hang out and chat and smoke, because, you know, we're both giant potheads. And I'm like, it's your birthday, that's what you do, right? And just kind of like chilled and allowed things to flow, but was watching the time, and then thinking that I was trying to make a deadline of 1 p.m. because, you know, that's what I planned. I was then like, okay, Dad, like, let's go. Oh, but Mom just messaged me about this stupid thing. So the reason that I asked to meet you earlier than we had originally planned was because the thing I wanted to do later was go to this garage sale thing that's happening at Mom's building in one of the rooms on the main floor. But it looks like they changed the time back. Like, they were going to do it in the morning, and then they changed it to the afternoon, and now Mom says they just changed it back to the morning again. So, like, do you mind coming with me? I just want to go pick up a table. because like they're only gonna have it going for another hour. And mom also said that it looks like it's a really kind of heavy table, so I might need your help. And he's just like kind of got this like sheepish smile, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't going over. And then he's like, so your mom accidentally sent me this text last night. And then he shows me a text that she sent me that like I wish I had open to read to you. Let's go back. Okay, I can do this. August 8th, August. So yeah, his birthday's on the 6th. Right. So this was something she sent me on the 4th, as she's like just realized that he has moved in to her floor. And she, by the way, she did not tell me that she accidentally sent this to him, and she keeps insisting that it's because he made her think that he didn't like clue in. And I'm like, he literally asked you about that. Like, if he asks you about it, that means that he clued in. I can't find it. It's something about, like, call me on a blocked number because we talked so much because of, like, just trying to arrange this. And I honestly usually don't talk to my mom very much, unless we start going on about politics. Yeah, I can't find it. But it was basically like, call me on a blocked number. I need to talk to you. It's an emergency. But I need your dad to not see this, or something like that. Something that was very much like, I need your dad to not see this. So it was like, okay, so clearly this was a message for Becca or Tommy. And then he's like, was I supposed to get this? And like literally shows it to her, and she just like blank stares and doesn't acknowledge him, and then is like, I need to go down to the office right now to work on, like, to deal with something. Gives no explanation for why she's going down to the office. So my mother ruined the party the night before and never told me, because she was just in absolute panic. I have learned, even though I don't think my mom actually has PTSD like myself and my dad do, and possibly my brother, she does have some kind of like trauma response to stress where her brain shuts off. And as Shane described and acted it out, she tends to just be like all action and no thought at all, which leads to absolutely no productivity, FYI. If you don't think ahead when you're trying to act, you don't actually do productive actions, and you just kind of spin in circles. So that was her. And so she never told me that she'd sent him that text, because she somehow believed that he didn't clue in because she didn't acknowledge that he showed her the text. So he, as I'm trying to get him out of my apartment back there for the surprise, he's like, your mom sent me this text. What's like, And I'm like, so many things go through my head in that moment of like, fuck you, lady. No! You ruined everything. What do I do now? I want to cry. It's all destroyed. What do? Absolute panic. Gotta resolve this. Gotta fix it. What do you do when everything's going wrong? Like, when something comes up and you have no idea what to do. Play stupid. What else, right? So I'm like, oh, I wonder what that's about. And he's like, I thought you were in on it. And I was just like, no, like, she never told me anything. That's so weird. I would think she would. And he's like, yeah, no, I swore you were in on it. And I was just like, no, I'm really curious what it is, and I'm really wondering why she didn't ask me to like be a part of it. So like straight up just playing stupid. So I'm like, okay, so like let's go get this table and then we'll go over it fast. If that's okay with you. And now I'm like, I'm even suggesting to, oh, we don't have to go if you don't want. You're like really trying to sell like the casualness of it. And he's like, no, it's fine. Like you said that they're not going to be running it that much longer. Let's just go get the table. No big deal. So we go. I accidentally park my car, and I'm like, what am I doing? Ugh, why am I parking? Why didn't I just like pull up to the, oh, whatever. We'll just come back. I guess it's a habit. And then we get in, and again, my mother is not thinking. So I text her, I'm like, okay, we're here, we're coming in. She has had, so my friend Shane came and I was having him help me with like organizing things and just being at the party and like trying to control my mom's insanity while I was dealing with my dad. And then like helping her bring stuff up and down and whatever she needed, right? Just like an extra body and arms. And she at some point asked him to stall me, but I was trying to not really pay too much attention to my text because I was trying to pay attention to him and not get him suspicious, right? So I didn't really see those texts. And like when I told him I'm leaving, he was like, "Oh no, stall." And I'm like, I was already driving at that point. I wouldn't have seen that text. Turns out that like the moment I told him I was leaving, my brother's girlfriend, we'll call her that, decided to leave at that moment to go get my brother and his two sons. So for some reason, she had left her apartment, which is like a half an hour's trip, like there and back is half hour, bare minimum. She left there to come to help set up with the party. No idea what actually happened other than bringing buns. And then left like the moment I said I was bringing, the birthday person to go get, which was going to be a half hour trip, Tommy, like my brother and his sons. And it's just like, so what? I know he had to work in the morning, but what was he doing? He obviously had the capacity to watch the children because he was there. So why didn't they come with you when you first came? I'll never understand how that all went down. So I text my mom, we're coming in, but there's people at the door already opening the door. So we're coming in, but I'm not buzzing. And she somehow decides that that means she needs to come let us in. And I'm like, you're not supposed to know we're here. You're not supposed to have anything to do with this. Why would you come let us in? No sense in that. So I send her that. We're heading down the hallway. I'm trying to like get my phone going to get a recording from the back end of the surprise. She is supposed to be recording the front end. She told me she would. But her brain is in pieces, just absolutely dysfunctional. So she forgets like to do lots. Including that video. So she's left the room. She's coming around the hallway to get us as we're coming down the hallway. She finally hears my voice, panics, turns around, but then as we're coming around the corner, we see her going back into the room. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? He still seems to, though, be sold that we're heading to a garage sale in this room. So I've got the camera going. He opens the door. The room is completely empty except for my friend Shane that I brought to help, not as like a party goer, and then my mom. And she's just kind of sitting by the kitchen area staring. And so then Shane goes, "Surprise!" And I immediately broke down. And then my dad turned around and hugged me. He's just like, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. I'm a loner, honey, I'm a loner, don't worry about it." He's not wrong. I'd realized that a couple nights before when I'd seen that so few people were coming. I was just like, why did I try to host a fucking party for a loner? Damn it! Oh, mistakes were made. But yeah, I was pretty shattered that I felt like I just absolutely failed. In the end, one person who said he was going to bring his girlfriend just never showed up, never messaged us, never said anything. Screw you. And then another person came with her partner and her baby about an hour late-ish. And then, yeah, my brother showed up, I want to say, like, around the same time, or, like, shortly after them. So, yeah. It was really hard for me emotionally. I don't know why I relied on my mom so much. I don't know why I asked her for so much help. other than, desperate, like I don't have money to be asking other people to be getting like professional organization help or anything like that, or to get catering. Like I don't have the money. So I was trying to resource family because that's what people do, right? Right? No. Yeah. So this has been a long tirade about how I thought it would be fun to host someone a surprise party, and I thought, it made sense to do it at like special intervals, your 30th, your 40th. So 55 is a pretty, like, it's not the 50th, but 55 for a lot of people is like a big milestone of like, frankly, I'm getting old. And yeah, my dad's old in my opinion. So is my mom, but whatever. The point is, we tried really hard. I spent far too much money that I did not have to spare. And no one came for the actual surprise. And it kind of broke my heart. It really triggered like intrusive thoughts of failure, of incompetence, of lack of worth. Yeah, I was shattered. And then I was telling Shane's sister about the whole thing the next day because she is the person I was mentioning who throws amazing parties, and she successfully threw her husband a very awesome surprise party this year for his 40th. And it was really interesting, I guess. Like, I can feel a little bit behind the eyes, but I'm a lot more stable now. But when I was telling it to her just like 24 hours after it happened, I started crying again. And it was just like, well, this clearly really bothers me. And it's just unfortunate that it's not just the failure of the party, right? Like, you can logic that away. Guy was a loner. Not very many people felt a lot of value of coming, like spending the gas to get to the party because they're like, it's just Bonner. And they don't not like him, but life is expensive these days, and you got to pick and choose where you're spending your money and like how important it is to you, right? So there was also a time where he had an injury that sort of led to him not replying to someone else inviting him to a surprise party, so he thinks that might have influenced the social situation. But yeah, the family of 5 that canceled like a day before, screw them. The guy who said he was coming with his girlfriend and didn't come, screw him. We had like one person basically come with their little family, other than my brother, and my damn brother couldn't even show up on time. Like, yeah, it really reinforced things that I can't rely on family, that I can't ask people for help, and that I can't host parties, that I kind of suck at it. At the same time, I've done so poorly at hosting parties in the past that there was some success, it felt, in this party, because I had some party games pre-planned, and I didn't do them all because they weren't really like word people, and a lot of them were word games, and they didn't seem like charades people, and some of them were charades based games. But I did Sticker Stalker. Feel free to Google it. It's pretty fun. And then I did What's in This Bag, where they just had to like feel it through, what was it? It was like this bag, so it was a sunglasses holder. And I just had like these little animal toys. And those two seemed to go off pretty well. People really liked them. My nephew actually lost his mind with the Sticker Stalker. He was kind of ridiculous. Oh, and then we had 20 questions, but it didn't go so well. But it was 20 questions about my dad. So I learned that when he was a kid, he wanted to be a pilot. So that was kind of fun. So it wasn't all bad, I'll admit. But it did trigger a lot of difficult childhood stuff. And that sucked for me because I went to a lot of effort. I made sure my mom made his favorite cake, made his favorite dinner. I bought his favorite beer. I rolled him up like a giant pill bottle full of joints. And I spent like 48 hours, like, of all the different time put together, at least 48 hours making that banner for him. So it was a lot of time and effort that felt like it just kind of ended in a bit of a dumpster fire, a failure. But yeah, again, not all bad, because some of the games went okay, and one person showed up, so Hey. Yeah. So the reason I didn't share this video last Sunday was because I needed to emotionally recover from the devastation that was this experience. I can now say that I've tried to arrange a surprise party. I don't think I'll ever try again. Maybe, but like I'm not, calling it. I'm not a black and white kind of person. Mine's change, right? So maybe in the future, but right now, no. There's no one in my life who is worth that much work. And there's no way I'm gonna like put myself up on the chopping block to fail again like that. Not for a while at least. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching this long tirade of a video about my dumpster fire of a surprise party. That wasn't really a surprise because my mom ruined it, and it wasn't really a party. Please feel free, as always, to share your thoughts below about any of the crap that I've shared, or any experiences you've had of trying to host a surprise party, or just a disaster of trying to host an event for yourself. Always share your stories. I love hearing them. I appreciate that you take the time to listen to mine, and I hope you have a great day. And as always, join me again next week or sometime soon where I try again to share a little something I've learned or experienced in life.